quite a lovely place to live.
Yeah,
And New York and the Lower East Side, which is where Callie's apartment is. So.
Yeah, she's way down.
Yep.
But that was one of my first entrees to New York was like Battery Park City because my boyfriend was working on a show in New York, and that's where he was living at the time. So that was like my first real trip to New York outside of like a family trip was to come see him while he was working.
Yeah.
And there we were in Battery Park City.
To walk the Battery, go up to the Village, go to
Yep.
Washington Square,
Yep.
all these places,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
This seems tailor-made for Hollywood.
I would like for it to be tailor-made for Hollywood. I mean, you look at True Blood and how incredibly well it's done.
Yeah.
People really have responded to her world. And I think, it's a very different story, but I think it has that same sort of fantasy thing that people are kind of itching for right now, especially with the economy the way it is. People want to be entertained. They don't want to be, over psychoanalyzed when they go, see a film or watch a TV show. They want to be entertained. They want something that says something without like preaching at them. And
Right.
I think Callie has that sort of possibility. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a story that'll draw readers in.
I think so. I hope so. I tried to create a world that I would want to read. That was the main thing. But Ginjer especially was encouraging me. She's like, write what you know, write what you like to read. And so that's what I did. I wrote something that I would enjoy reading. And I love mythology. I love, like I said, Joseph Campbell and Hero of a Thousand Faces. I was like, I got to find a way to work all that into these books without, like, shoving it down people's throats.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if I just heard right, you're doing a children's book also?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's working on something that another editor whose specialty is children's books.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm working. I just finished that, and now I'm starting the third book in the Callie series, and so it's been a busy writing year. And then I've been making movies.
I was going to say, when is there time for acting? I mean, you're doing all this writing. It's
There's so much downtime on sets that I wrote most of this book when I was working on a movie of the week up in Vancouver called 7 Things to Do Before I'm 30.
Right.
And I had so much downtime on seeing the trailer and on weekends that like I would be sitting there working while they were shutting up shots and stuff, and I'd be like, what to do? And then there's this giant ball of crap monster who I'm like writing all this weird stuff and giant spears that guys are carrying that have a very phallic undertone, overtone, I guess more than undertone. Actually, Adam, my boyfriend, read it, and he's like, there's a lot of phallic stuff in your book. What, did you do that on purpose? I'm like, no,
You could just tell him you were missing him.
I was missing him.
getting off track for just a second. Speaking of TV movies, you shot something for Lifetime, Long Island Confidential, which I don't think it's ever aired, but there was talk of making it a regular series. Is that?
Yeah, it was a pilot for a TV show that didn't get picked up.
Oh, that's too bad.
Kind of sad because it was a great cast. It was Lorraine Bracco
Right.
and Allison Elliott, and it was really, really fun. I had a great time shooting it up in Toronto.
Yes. Pretending to be Long Island.
Pretending to be Long Island.
I could see how the two could pass.
No.
Yeah.
I love Toronto, but that's a stretch.
Toronto's like New York, like Manhattan.
Yeah.
A cleaner Manhattan, I would
Yeah,
say.
definitely.
You ever done the Toronto Film Fest?
No, I've never been up there for the festival, but people swear by it. They love it.
Yeah.
My husband, John's sister, works it every year.
You're kidding.
Yeah, she volunteers. Yeah,
I
she has a
didn't
good
know
time.
that.
She has a good time.
Cool.
Have a little connection, everything.
Now, a friend of mine's a film critic, and that's the one festival he always makes a point of going to, because he said it's just not only good films, but just such a good atmosphere. It's not heavily commercialized. It's just a good time for everyone.
We were talking at Christmas about Slumdog Millionaire. I went out with John and his brother and sister-in-law, and we said to Pat, "Do you want to come along?" And she said, "Oh, I saw it at the festival." Whack, whack, whack.
Yeah, that's not fair. The Secret Baby's way in advance.
Yes, definitely.
And did you like Slumdog Millionaire?
I love Slumdog Millionaire. That's great. I really, really liked it. As it turns out, there's the AMC theaters here are doing this special offer. This, I think, is a function of the economy. And a week or so, there's a Saturday where they're going to be screening all 5 of the nominated movies for $30 with a big big tub of popcorn and unlimited drink. So I was saying to John, well, maybe we should go. And he said, we've seen Frost Nixon and we've seen Slumdog Millionaire. You want to see any of the other ones? And I said, no, come to think of it. So that was the answer. I'm going to get another water. I have a cold, as you may have gathered.
I have throat lozenges in the bag if you would like one.
The reason I'm carrying that bag around is it has medication in it.
She's
On the
both.
subject of which, this is just jam-packed with Hindu mythology. So, speaking of Slumdog Millionaire,
It all ties in nicely.
yes, it does.
Does okay.
Totally coincidentally.
If it wins, if only you can get the director to do a shout out to the book when it
Yes,
happens.
yeah. Danny Boyle, please. Actually, there were two directors. I was reading something about, like, it was Danny Boyle and then there was a woman.
Didn't she do the choreography?
Yeah, she did, like, all the stuff, and they wouldn't, because, you know, the Academy Awards is a thing where it can't be directors, so they didn't put her name. It was horrible.
About 2/3 of the way through it, I said to my husband, this is either one of the tightest, most complex original screenplays or it's based on a book. Because we didn't know it was based on a book, and it is based on a book. I mean, you could just, I mean, there was just that richness of complexity in it with the love story and the cop story and all the things that were going on. So
Yeah. So you're going to do an episode of Private Practice
I was
soon?
about to say,
Yeah.
but I happen to know that.
Speaking of drugs in your bag, that just made me...
I emailed her about something, and she said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And in the middle of an episode of Private Practice, and I emailed her back and said, a reason to watch besides Tim Daly and Taye Diggs.
They were both so nice, and I didn't really have any stuff with Tay, but all my stuff was with Tim Daly, and just the nicest guy around. Literally, just and looks amazing. Like you're like, you look as good as you look on TV. That's not fair. But yeah, no, it was really fun. I get all beaten up and.
Do you die in this one?
No, there's
Oh,
no
good news
death.
for fans everywhere.
Yeah, no death.
I don't know if you know, her characters die a lot. Incredible frequency.
I think Ginjer's seen me die a couple of times.
Well, do you actually see you die in the cold case? I'm not sure.
You don't really see it. You just,
No, you
see
just
the dead bodies
know.
later, yeah.
Yeah, because that's
Or
what the
first,
nature
yeah.
of cold case. We know you're dead. But
Sorry. We know you're dead.
Obviously,
you
seems...
didn't die in the bad gargoyle movie.
No, I didn't. I
triumphed.
I triumphed over the computer generated
Griffin, I keep calling it gargoyle.
the high-tech CGI use in that. Apparently someone's old Commodore 64 was used to credit.
The monster was
Yeah.
he was a giant pole with a tennis ball on top of him for most of what I saw. So it was a big leap from that to what was up on the screen. So
Yeah.
better than what I worked with on set.
I have to say, fun B-movie, but
Yes.
the disappointment for me was that your character goes from being kick-ass to being save me,
Yeah, I know.
and the guy with the bad American accent has to come and save the day, even though he really doesn't have much going on upstairs. So,
Poor Jonathan. But, you know, like, you do stuff like that so that you can go see a new place, and I mean, I got to shoot in an old castle, and you don't get to do that in normal life. Like in Romania, you know, vampire country. Of course, you can talk about vampires there, and they look at you like you're crazy. He's a national idol. Like he saved them from the Turks, I guess. So,
yeah.
You know.
yeah, they're not too thrilled with Bram Stoker.
No,
They don't like
no,
that much.
Not at all. The opposite, actually.